Straight ahead on 12 News, the Brooklyn Park City Council vote on ranked choice voting. Why the decision whether to proceed may ultimately rest with voters. Plus, the kind of delivery our grandparents can tell us about.
We're getting the freshest milk possible right from the dairy.
And it still exists today. But first, a Robbinsdale second grader's severe heart defect.
You never know if he's going to have a heart attack. You're always up every night checking on him.
12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. The city of Robbinsdale is honoring a young boy who suffers from a severe heart defect.
Ryan Kranz is only 8 years old, but he's already had several open heart surgeries. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Second grader Ryan Kranz loves sports.
He's just very active. He likes to run. He likes to play like a normal boy.
Baseball and basketball are his favorites.
Yo encanta baloncesto.
He attends Robbinsdale Spanish Immersion School.
Vamos con la última ronda, niños, ¿vale?
Today he was working on vocabulary.
You have to read and do quizzes.
Ryan is very well-rounded, considering he suffers from a congenital heart defect called tetralogy of Fallot, which limits the flow of blood to the lungs.
I didn't know what to expect, what it meant, any of that.
Ryan's mom, Brooke, learned he had the condition when he was just 2 weeks old.
His fingertips turned blue. His mouth would, around his mouth would turn like a dusky blue, silvery color. And he'd start gagging and choking on his bottles and stuff.
Shortly after that discovery, he had to have open heart surgery.
It was just surreal. We didn't react very much. We didn't know how to.
He had 2 other open heart surgeries when he was 5 and 7.
Just scared because you never know if he's going to have a heart attack. You're always up every night checking on him, make sure he's still breathing.
Brooke has made it her mission to spread awareness. She started the Little Mended Hearts Twin Cities chapter group.
Right now we're just doing a fundraiser to try to get bags for families waiting for their kids who are having surgery, like crossword puzzles, snacks, waters.
And Ryan was recently given a proclamation by the city of Robbinsdale, honoring him during Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week.
I was surprised, but quite thrilled for him. He's a great kid, so kind of fun to see him celebrated.
Ryan's prognosis is good. He's been told to avoid playing sports like football, but otherwise, he should be able to live a normal life.
I just want to see him grow up healthy, strong, know about his heart, tell other people about it, try to spread awareness also.
Now, Ryan will most likely need another heart surgery when he gets older to put in a larger shunt to help with blood flow. Meanwhile, Ryan's mom is working on a fundraising event that will be held sometime later this year. If you would like to know more about the heart defect, we've put information on our website. Delane?
Thank you, Sonia. As Minnesota's population grows more diverse, there's a troubling statistic when it comes to children. Overall, 177,000 children are living in poverty in the state. 40% are Black and American Indian children. For white children, it's 8%. Representatives from the Minnesota Children's Defense Fund spoke to education and community leaders in Brooklyn Center about some of the latest data. They say levels of poverty spiked during the Great Recession, and low-income families haven't seen the benefits of the economic recovery.
There's, of course, a moral imperative to ensure all children succeed, but we know that when all children succeed, our state and our economy is going to benefit from that.
Poverty among kids has long-term effects, so leaders say there needs to be outreach and investment in programs that work directly with children of color.
A former state senator who represented northern Brooklyn Park has died. Leo Foley was a Democratic Minnesota senator for 14 years, serving between 1996 and 2010. He also was a Minnesota state trooper for 33 years. Foley is remembered for his devotion to education and inspired many by obtaining his law degree at age 65. A celebration of his life will take place Saturday at First Congregational Church of Anoka. Leo Foley was 87 years old. In presidential politics, it is on to Nevada and South Carolina.
Soon it will be Minnesota's turn on Super Tuesday, March 1st. Today, the Secretary of State's office launched the Caucus Finder. It allows you to find caucus locations provided by the DFL and Republican parties. Precinct caucuses mark the beginning of the 2016 election season in Minnesota. They are entirely run by the state's political parties, which includes the selection of caucus locations.
Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Park City Council voted this week not to support ranked choice voting. The city's Charter Commission began studying ranked choice voting in 2011 following the special election to replace the late mayor Steve Lampe. Ranked choice voting allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference. Those in favor believe it would increase voter participation, eliminate the need for city primaries, and discourage negative campaigning. Those against say it is simply too confusing.
I don't know what the problem is that we're trying to solve. Apparently, we have a broken system in Brooklyn Park, we're told. That needs to be fixed, and I'm here to tell you it's not. It's not broken.
And this, like anything else, it's got people who believe passionately on both sides. But from where I'm coming from, what I think is best for Brooklyn Park, it's not ranked choice voting.
The City Council was unanimous in not supporting ranked choice voting. However, the issue could still be left up to Brooklyn Park voters on the fall ballot. The city's Charter Commission is expected to decide whether to proceed at its March 9th meeting. As grocery store delivery becomes more popular, we are taking a look at a delivery service that may have started it all, the Milkman.
Yeah, kids nowadays may be more familiar with milkmen from the stories their grandparents tell. But as Emily Ragouche shows us, they are still common today.
It may seem like a blast from the past, but it's a service that stood the test of time.
I get asked, well, we didn't even know your milkmen were still alive.
Maple Grove's milkman, Craig Nedegard, is proof. Milkmen are still very much alive and thriving. In Craig's case, he works as an independent contractor for Kemp's Dairy. And the service is offered virtually everywhere in the Twin Cities metro.
Try to make it as convenient for the customer as we can, is what we try to do.
Craig's morning begins around 3 o'clock when he heads out the door, loads up his truck, and by 5 a.m., he's delivering milk to neighborhoods.
We pick our milk up every day fresh. You know, our order goes in the night before, and so all our milk is the freshest milk you'll ever get.
And we so appreciate him just coming every week consistently. You know, he always comes in with a smile and greets us all. He's just a wonderful man.
Craig also delivers to schools and churches like Caring Kingdom Preschool.
They think he's wonderful because he brings chocolate milk.
Craig started out in construction, but 9 years ago made the switch.
Another reason to inspire being a milkman, that my grandpa was a milkman up in Ascove and the Ascove surrounding area. He delivers pleasure with his milk.
So what's the most common misperception of milkmen?
When you drive by or whatever, they think delivery, they think expensive. You know, I'm comparable on my truck to a lot of prices in the grocery store, and I do not charge a delivery fee either.
He also has a tip.
Once you start drinking milk out of a carton, you'll never be able to go back to plastic. You will, but it'll taste funny because it's that much better.
He says the cartons are a niche for the milkmen. In addition to dairy products, he also delivers meat, frozen foods, even dish soap and garbage bags, which is leaving customers milking the convenience. In Maple Grove, Emily Ragouche, 12 News.
Well, Craig thinks milkmen aren't as widely known today because both parents are working and don't see the truck in their neighborhoods. If you're looking for a milkman where you live, we put a link on our website, 12.tv. I love that story. I had no idea that the milkmen still existed.
Exactly, and milk in a carton that's Craig's tip.
I gotta
remember
try it
that.
now.
We gotta try it, absolutely.
Well, coming up, we meet this week's standout student from Osseo High School. Good grades are only part of his story.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Wayzata girls hockey team scores early and often in their section semifinal.
But first, a frigid Friday. It will feel like minus 10 degrees. Welcome back. This week's standout student constantly pushes himself to do better.
It wasn't always that way for Osseo High School senior Michael Tieku. He had to overcome some major challenges to get where he is today.
Like the federal government, the state cannot have an operating budget with debt or deficit.
Economics teacher Katie Grivna remembers first meeting Osseo senior Michael Tieku. He made an impression on day number 1.
Class ended, Michael came up to me and said, I really want to succeed in business, and I want you to push me in this econ class. And that was the very first day.
On the surface, this 18-year-old story reads like that of other upbeat, hardworking students. Michael takes advanced placement courses, earns good grades, mentors younger students, and volunteers. In other words, a real student leader.
I think people are drawn to him. I'm drawn to him. I'm drawn to Michael. Like his personality, his positive outlook on everything.
But that's only half the story.
I used to get bad grades in elementary school and all that because I couldn't focus on my schoolwork because I was always thinking about the problems.
Michael Tieku's story is one of determination. Born to Ghanaian immigrants, Michael suffered through abuse as a child. But as he grew up, he came to an important realization.
You're not alone. You may think that you have the best or worst life and that you're suffering, but everybody's out there suffering too. And you got to realize that you're not alone and that you can fight it.
In a quiet way, you can see that he is just really a strong person. And you would need to be to overcome the things that Michael has overcome in his life.
Our state budget always has to be balanced here in Minnesota.
Always pushing to improve himself and keep learning, Michael wants to pursue psychology and business degrees in college. His teachers say Michael Tieku is one to watch.
The sky's the limit for him.
Michael envisions a career in business after college. He has his sights set on attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Coming up, a significant milestone for North Hennepin Community College.
But first, we catch up with the unbeaten Osseo boys basketball team. John Jacobson is in next.
The Wayzata girls hockey team is a step closer to getting to the state tournament for the first time in 11 years. The Trojans got off to a great start in their semifinal game. Trojans ready to go Wednesday night as they face Cretin-Derham Hall. Lindsey Zek shoots and scores from the point off a clean face-off win, and Wayzata is on the board 2.5 minutes into the game against Cretin. Less than a minute later, Maddie Wolfsman set up Natalie Heising, and her shot slides in. Wayzata is up 2-0 on Cretin. Still in the first, Allie Wiedela feeds the puck to Tyra Swanson. The senior scores, and Wayzata is out to a 3-0 lead. Cretin gets one before the end of the period. Audrey Hapka whacks the puck out of the air off the shot from the point. A power play goal makes it 3-1 through 1. Same score for Coach Becky Wacker and the Trojans late in the second period. Wayzata on a 2-on-1. Wolfsman to Taylor Nelson for the goal, and Wayzata has a 4-1 lead. Goalie Sarah Stelter makes 33 saves to preserve the Trojans' 4-2 victory. Next up in the section final, everyone's favorite opponent, Edina.
I cannot believe they didn't get a penalty.
I feel like our team is ready to eat cake. So I feel like our team is ready to prove people wrong. So
it's Wayzata and Edina for a third time this season for the 6AA title. That game faces off at around 8 o'clock Friday night following the Section 2AA final at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. Maple Grove plays Centennial in the 5AA final Friday night. That's at 7 o'clock at Roseville Arena. The Crimson is seeking the program's first ever state tournament appearance. It's a very strong year for boys basketball in the area. One team that wasn't drawing a lot of attention to start the season has opened a lot of eyes this winter. Osseo is the only unbeaten Class 4A team. The Orioles have 3 more regular season games left. The second-ranked team in 4A, the Orioles are 23-0. They aren't likely to have any all-state picks and aren't seeing a lot of Division I coaches at their games, but they have a lot of good players who are hungry for success.
We just kind of, push each other to do better in practice, get better and better every day. So that's been the key to getting better every day.
Well, they're high school kids, they read press clippings, they think we're pretty good. You have to ground them a little bit, you have to still work on the fundamentals, keep preaching the things that you've been preaching all year. And what's great about this year is we have great senior leaders. I don't have to do too much reminding.
After playing Anoka and Andover, the Orioles meet arch rival and 4th-ranked Maple Grove in the regular season finale next Friday. They rallied to beat the Crimson in the team's first meeting at Osseo. It'll be a playoff-like game, and that'll help the Orioles to be ready for sections.
It's going to be a great atmosphere, and it's going to come down to defense at the end, and hopefully we can pull out with the victory. So.
They're not going to want to go down without a fight, and especially at their home court. If they control the tempo and walk the ball up the court, this is going to be a heck of a game. We want to speed it up a little bit, so we'll do what we can to accomplish that.
Osseo hosts Anoka Friday. It's their final home game of the regular season. Trying to land more walleyes in the winter is the topic of this week's Channel 12 ice fishing tip. Here's Terry Tuma.
A common question that's been asked, especially this year, is how can I catch more walleyes? In other words, how can I increase my success ratio? And what we really need to do is, first of all, try to understand the walleye movement. You know, always remember, no food, no fish. That's just not going to happen. And when we're talking about walleye movements is, you know, where are they going to be holding up, so to speak, when they're not feeding? Generally speaking, they'll be deeper water. And what they're going to do is follow that food all the way up, so we call it a highway, to wherever that food source is, and they're going to position themselves, they're going to eat there, and then follow it back down. So we need to understand this path of travel, if you will, and then along with that is what is going to affect that path of travel. Fishing pressure, it can be lake construction, it can be cover such as green weeds, which there are green weeds on any body of water, even right now, and then of course too is the weather conditions. That's another big factor, but by understanding where the food source is, what the food source is, and then match your lures according, and your baits according to the fish's mood. And what we're talking about when you're talking about fish's mood, the size of the bait, the size of your minnows. You know, if you're using fatted, you do not want to use a big fatted for a non-aggressive walleye, and vice versa. If they're really aggressive, you don't want to use a crappie minnow, but they're not going to be interested in that. They don't want to fool around, in other words, with tidbits. That's something else we have to address today to increase our success. But just pay attention. What the fish tell you is what you want to do.
Thanks, Terry. Jay Wilcox up at the State Nordic Ski Meet. We'll have highlights of that Friday starting at 4 here on 12 News. Armstrong girls, first place in the state. Congratulations to them. Wayzata girls second. Wayzata boys finishing third in their race.
Very good. Thanks, John. Still ahead, a reason to celebrate at North Hennepin Community College.
And we'll have that right back.
And finally, a day of celebration at North Hennepin Community College.
As part of North Hennepin's 50th anniversary, the college hosted a liberal arts and global education showcase. One of the exhibits included a display of published books written by students and faculty members from North Hennepin. Visitors could also meet with instructors to learn more about the different departments in the liberal arts and global education program.
They really do an amazing job here. They're all top-notch professionals. I've observed all of them personally teach, and the level of teaching here is just outstanding.
And this is just one of many events the college is holding this year to celebrate its 50th anniversary.
And John, big game night tonight.
Well, a lot of games going on, including Benilde, #1 in the state at Wayzata Boys Hockey at 7 o'clock on Channel 12.
All right, that's all the news for now. Thanks a lot.
We'll see you back here tomorrow starting at 4.